Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program, the Rocci Stucci Show, Life Before Birth. What? Crackheads? What? They're everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Wednesday. Let's go. Yeah, so as you can see on the screen, we have Brother Bauer back on the program, the Rocci Stucci Show, StucciMedia.com. Hey, by the way, go to mypillow.com and use code word meatball when you go there and get some badass discounts when you do it. Get the damn slippers, please. Bauer, I'm still recovering from the last episode, and I told Bauer, I says, every time you're on the show, dude, we have like 2 weeks worth of material, of marketing material. I mean, every 5 minutes, there's 4 clips for us to pull out. And that's such a compliment, right? Because the conversations, they're refreshing, they're deep, they're mind-bending, they're fun, they're hilarious, they're everything above, and I really appreciate the conversations I have with you, brother.
Well, they wouldn't be that way if it wasn't you and I exchanging that conscious energy and those golden noggin nuggets that we get rolling around between our ears, right?
Yeah, people didn't see the chaos before the show, by the way. We're fixing shirts and putting makeup on and shit. We're busy, man. We got shit to do.
Yeah, and we got to have people helping us do it, because you think that we can do this stuff by ourselves without any help?
Nope.
You think we got that kind of juice rolling around and juju and our mojo? I mean, this is production. This is work.
Did you say
You know
juju?
what I'm saying?
Juju in our mojo? Oh, hi, Steph. She says, here, look. She says, oh, hi. Or was it, oh, hi. Well, I don't really know because it's lowercase. So like, oh, hi. I don't know for sure how to take that one. You know what I mean?
I think she might have been kind of slightly sensitively triggered when she saw and heard what was going on, and she wasn't expecting that.
It's the overwhelming.
Happens to me all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's the overwhelming experience of realizing that Bauer's on the show when you pop into the chat room. It's like, oh, hey, you know what I mean? Hey. So, brother, life good, man? I mean, so far, it's been a couple of weeks since Trump's been president before we get in. Everybody's still alive. Gay rights haven't been eliminated. And, yeah, everybody's a fascist now. So that's kind of a recap. That's where we're at with everything. So welcome aboard.
So, yeah, I'm finding the entire transformative shift in this energy just fascinating to watch, highly entertaining. I mean, you need a damn dump truck of popcorn to get through this. But one of the more fascinating things, and I'm really enjoying, is a definitive shift from nonsense to common sense. And along with that, the shift from mediocrity to meritocracy, to having a meritocratus, credible, demonstrable, repeatable, accountable, transparent way in which people actually conduct themselves.
Bro, what time is it there?
Oh, it's just before the sun up.
So you're talking like that this early in the morning? I mean, those are like 18 big words in one sentence.
Well,
I
that's
couldn't even say meteorocracy stuff.
One of the reasons I can think about it this early in the morning is I've been watching it nonstop for at least the last week, and that's part. And that's part of what I think is really interesting to watch and very profound. There's been a significant cognitive and visual and mental shift in, wait a minute, that was some weird shit, but let's go try this shit instead, because this shit seems to, my bullshit meter's not pegging on the regular over here. And the alacrity with which the execution of getting stuff done that we've seen in the last week, I don't think we've ever seen anything like it. I think the let's get shit done model has just shown up on the stage and turned up the lights, turned up the sound, and it's off to the races. There is no screwing around with getting things done going on, and people aren't used to seeing that.
What's really interesting is how many countries get super mad at us when we when we eliminate. I mean, dude, millions of dollars in condoms that we're sending to Gaza Strip. It's $6 million just for condoms. It's like, tell me that that's not a sham, and the more it's just like, dude, we funded money to study gayness in frogs, right? Because Alex Jones was wrong about that. Remember when everybody ripped on Alex Jones about the frogs turning gay? That's a real thing. It was real at the time. When Alex Jones was attacked by the mainstream media about the frogs turning gay, he referenced an article from Harvard University about a research that they did that was accessible to everybody at the time, that they were attacking him about frogs turning gay. And now with all the medications in our waterways and the blends of these medications, it's literally disrupting our ecosystem, and it's making our animals like grow extra things. You know what I'm saying?
It's all in our food, which is causing the majority of all of the chronic illness that the majority of our population seems to be suffering, which is then only supported and whipped around into a continuous cycle by the pharma companies and all of their ridiculous constructs of trying to create some kind of antidote for the thing that the bad food caused. It's like, at some point there is going to be a realization that this shit just ain't right, and I think that's what we're seeing. And I think the reason the speed and the depth and the breadth of getting shit done has happened in just 1 week is because all of it, for the most part, I haven't seen anything that's stuck out of any of the executive orders that I didn't agree with. I looked at it and I went, 100%. Well, yeah, that makes common sense. Okay, yeah, go do that. Well, yeah, I agree with that too. Go do that. And it was just one after another. It was this long list of let's fix this shit so that we can go get shit done. Yeah, and I think that is extremely refreshing. It's very encouraging. It adds even more to the existing optimism that I've had for the future. I see a transformative disruption that is necessary. It's nasty, and there's all kinds of shit you'd rather not do. But if you're going to fix something, you have to decide if it can be repaired or fixed, or does it need to be replaced. And I think the replacement model has become basically obvious to just about everyone who gets up in the morning, shits, showers, and shaves.
Oh. What? Is that guaranteed every morning? Guaranteed every morning?
Well, there's some that are on the regular every day. Some give it a few days here and there, which, I'm not here to judge.
I didn't realize the importance of a good morning pinch. I didn't realize the importance of that until I started having my stomach issues, until I started having those surgeries. And then going through the recoveries, it's never healed. So I still have issues today. And it's just like anytime I eat, it's just the digestive process. I have to now be super conscious of the food I put, because let's go back for a second when you're talking about food and health and all that other stuff. Depending on what kind of chemicals are in what food now that I eat, because I had intestine taken out, it changed. Like, I can't even eat cereal anymore, bro. It's like I've become, higher in my lactose intolerance. But now with all these foods are processed, or they got all these, fertilizers in it or whatever kind of poisons in it to flavor it, to make it taste real good, and addict us. It affects me. It hurts me. And now it's only really natural foods, seriously, like broccolis and things like that. Foods that aren't processed or that type of bullshit are the foods that are the easiest to digest. And that makes logical sense, right? Because if you look at the study that is did with the McDonald's hamburger, they put it in something that would be comparable to what would be stomach acid. Mm-hmm. They let it sit in there for 24 hours. After 24 hours, it should have been like a liquid. It should have been liquefied almost, completely broken down. But no, it was a black blob of slime, a black blob of slime. And that's what sits in your body, and that's what goes through your intestines, and it adheres to the side. And I'm not a health guy. I'm unhealthy as shit right now. I'm terrible. Look at me. I look terrible. And I'm just now starting to be conscious about this stuff, and it was forced upon me because of an ailment. Otherwise, I would still be, unconscious about the Doritos and the Cheetos and all the Girl Scout cookies, because they just found out arsenics in every freaking Girl Scout cookie.
And lead in the Thin Mints, which, everybody, the reason we get we enjoy those things because they are extremely enjoyable.
I think there's crack
I mean,
cocaine in the bitches, dude. I really
oh,
do.
well, the taste, I mean, it's a mouth orgasm.
Oh, say it again.
A mouth orgasm.
One more time.
Mouth orgasm. And I got to tell you, the oral sensations and pleasures are one of the most profound and powerful that we experience in this carbon-based meat suit. I don't know about you, but as an aspiring cunning linguist, I have found my entire oral experience to be one of just amazement that I just continue to enjoy and pursue with alacrity.
That's moist.
I love when it's moist.
$6 million, folks, to Gaza for condoms. $6 million effing dollars. We said it just the last time you were on the program, Bauer. Any changes to get anything back into what we thought was like a normal standard of American society is going to be an act of radicalism. That's how far off we have boiled in that slow boiling water. You know what I mean? It's been trickled. Oh, Mike is in the house. Mike is in the house. Is another thing that people got to start looking into is our clothes. It's all made out of polyester, which messes with your body's frequency. Tell me about polyester, brother. Do you know anything about that?
I used to do the leisure suit Larry thing back in the day when that was
ass, bro.
when that was. I agree there, Steph. Yeah, mouth hugs are where it's at.
So it's my visuals are probably not normal, but anyways, I'll stick with my visual and I'll lock that in the mental bank. Go ahead.
And what were we talking about just now?
It's the Robert Bauer effect. ADHD of talk radio, folks. Right here, the Rocci Stucci freaking show.
Nuggets bouncing into each other and bouncing off and going God knows where. Some of them
polyester.
Yeah, that's right. So I used to sport that, and even back then, it felt strange. It did feel like some kind of spacesuit kind of thing, right? And because it really had kind of come out of that era of all these new materials, nylons and blends and so forth. However, the development of the technology and the way that they've been able to at least manufacture the fibers and the construct, it's pretty goddamn comfortable. But to Mike, the blends in particular. But to Micah's point, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on depending on who made it and what they used to make it and what the intent was behind that. I think one of the real highly suspect materials that we use on the regular daily is toilet paper. I mean, what's in toilet paper? Is that really paper? Or is it bamboo shoots?
What is it?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean,
don't make me start thinking. But what if there are chemicals, man? I mean, women like in tampons and those pads that they put in.
All that shit. I mean, all of it has been infiltrated and infected with some nefarious bullshit that people have put in to screw with us. So it's very careful. Hemp. We talked about this, I think, on one of the last shows when I said, our future is going to be fueled by cannabis and code.
Did you hear that?
I heard something there. Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Do you feel like you're being looked at right now?
Sort of, yeah. I feel like I'm being kind of watched by a couple of different angles, actually. I feel like there's a couple of things going on.
Weird. Okay.
So the cannabis thing is extremely important because if we think about it, the reality of it is that cannabis is the most diverse plant with so many incredible benefits that we know on this planet. Everything from psychological to physical. You can build a house. You can make clothes out of it, rope. You can, everything. You can make everything out of it. Plus, it's a 4x return on growing it. per acre. So you get 4 times the material out of an acre of hemp than you do out of an acre of trees. And that was
yeah, I
actually,
heard that actually, dude. I think recently, I think they were talking about the wildfires, and why don't we use hemp more within the clothing industry? I know there are clothing lines. I know there's certain stores you can go to. Everything is hemp inside, but why? Because of its efficiency and
its
its
utility is ubiquitous. It's incredible. Yeah.
it's ubiquitous. That's the word I was seriously trying to come up with, bro. It's
That's why I
ubiquitous.
helped you out there.
I can't remember what I was saying. I'm reading my own comment saying that says cannabis, and then I'm thinking,
So we're talking about the clothes and the content and Micah's comment and just the infiltration of purposeful parasites and pathogens into the environment, the biosphere that we inhabit, that we all share. You get enough of that stuff in there, and depending on its nature and all that, it will manifest and metastasize on its own. So you've got to really be. There may or may not be mitigating factors. In fact, I think that there are more likely mitigating factors to a lot of that. And that goes to the whole idea of consciousness that we've been talking about the last couple of shows. When the true power and capacity and nature of our consciousness is finally understood from a general awareness perspective,
yeah,
when people realize that they can actually change their biological meat suit with the thoughts in their minds, the healing will begin. The transformation will begin. People will be, wait a minute, I have this kind of capability. I've had it all along. And it's been the subterfuge of the subjugation of that knowledge is going to piss off a lot of people.
okay.
They're going to go, wait a minute, you purposely kept us from knowing the truth again on the fundamental reality of reality.
So I got yelled. Hey, by the way, speaking of being pissed off people, I got yelled at today. So there's been some drama in the neighborhood. We have some things going on across the street, and we had to update our security a little bit yesterday. Just not for security, for footage. I don't know. I'm weird. You know what I'm saying? It's like last night I was being nosy. I heard some shit going on outside. I opened up my cameras just to look. But one of the contestants in the game of life over there, she yelled at me today about Trump. I'm like, why are you yelling at me? I'm not his daddy, right? And I'm not like a trumper, right? I'm supportive of the man 1,000%, but he's not biblical to me. But she yelled at me because she said that he canceled cancer research. I'm like, yeah, he just woke up this morning and decided that. Yeah. I said, he just says, yeah, let's just cancel it all. Fuck it. It's done. That's what he did. You go ahead and do your thing. Go believe it. Fascist, right? Nazi? Got it. All right, cool. Have a great day. It's just like, that's the education of the people sometimes, that you have to sit here and be like, no, I don't think that's really going to happen. People just don't cancel cancer research. It don't work like that, but in your world it does.
Well, you see, that's just part of the propaganda that is being put out by the Mockingbird media and, the talking heads.
Why don't we hold them accountable, though, bro? It's just like, you've seen this. You have issues right now. You had an issue with your page for whatever reason. It got locked or fucked with or, whatever happened. We've been held accountable as civilians, as not following the rules. So when we sit here, Bauer, and you sit here and you study, you do what you do, and we sit here and we try to see life for what it is, and we actually see it. And why isn't there any type of accountability? And I know we have the First Amendment thing, right? And that actually gets used against us in a lot of different ways. But why isn't mainstream media, when you're on a national broadcast platform, why isn't it actual media resources, and why do we accept the propaganda as media? Why do we accept it? Because it accommodates our emotional status, so we go hear what we want to hear, because it's not what it's supposed to be.
Well, you said a couple of things there. One of them was, we've got to be careful and follow the rules. So the first problem is the rules. Who made them and what are they?
There's
It's
your
been
answer.
clear. It's been clear that the rules were completely wrong. They had a whole bunch of problems.
Do as I
Those
say, not as I
rules were defined and enacted and continually used by a media that has lost all credibility.
do. Yeah.
So when you ask how do you fix that, it's like, well, it's fixing itself. It's an organic, self-imposed implosion on the whole construct that they've tried to create. They've carefully crafted and curated it, and they've tossed it into the craniums, and that ends up in the consciousness, which then screws up the conversation, which then causes chaos and consternation.
Oh,
Uh, you know what I'm
consternation,
saying?
bro.
Right? All that conflict shit is they've done it on purpose, not only to screw with the sleeple,
Just
but
sleep.
they've done it to cause chaos amongst the sleeple. And it's been very effective. So to your point about, having to be careful about in the past about what you would say, because there was going to be some manifestation, something was going to get triggered and overly sensitized and start flipping out and creating an emotional pile of nonsense that nobody wants to deal with, but it would be big enough and it would be loud enough and usually with enough velocity that it would cause the kind of impact that it was intended to do,
Yep.
which was creating nothing but complete nonsense and bullshit. So what's happened now is particularly, again, part of the things that, in my view and observation, have happened with alacrity, definitiveness, and just uh, a clear. It's basically Dad came home and he said, "All right, clean all this shit up. People are bailing all over the place." The fact that just putting out that the official administration and government policy is that there are two genders. There's only two. That alone just took a huge amount of shackles off of the speech model, the speech
The fact that
environment.
see when you just said that to me, and yes, I agree, brother. 100%, man. F all that, what's that other, well, whatever's going on like in the military about inclusion and all that other stuff, whatever that
All
is.
the transgender shit.
Yep, yep. The fact that we need to, at a political level, at a societal, governmental, whatever level it is, the fact that we need to come up with an executive order to say that there's two genders is so just out of the world to my shit, dude. I don't know how to digest that. I know we want to create a new science in this illusional science, a delusional science, right? And say
That's
that, well,
exactly right.
emotionally, if you feel this way, well, that's kind of technically legit. Oh, and all of a sudden, dudes now can all of a sudden have babies, and all of a sudden, dudes can fucking have periods, and it's just like, no, dude, you can't. You can poop what looks like shit that has blood in it, maybe, but you ain't gonna have a period like a woman does. Period. I mean,
Oh man, that visual. I need a mind eraser on.
did you feel that?
Uh,
Yeah. Whew. Whew.
So, but see, that's the kind of thing that I believe that's happened. We're watching a basically a complete rejection of what was the status quo,
Yeah.
and that status quo going back to the rules and to the accountability of those the media. The only way to hold them accountable, and this is the best way to let things reveal themselves. And that to me, this is an analogy of the last 4 years. The election was clearly fraud. It was clearly stolen. There's no doubt about it. Okay, we couldn't say that back then. People lost accounts back then. They got canceled, silenced, denied, and shoved aside when they said that. Now you can say it. Same thing about the vaccine. CIA just comes out and says, "Yeah, the lab leak. That's where it came from."
So I want to say, so I'm going to tell you something here, Bara. It's a little inside in regards to, hold that thought where you're going to go. In regards to the election thing. I sat and had a conversation with the guy, former CIA. And they still to this day have the parties involved detained on an island, and they've had them. They tried to present this to the DOJ, I think 3 months ago. We may have talked about this offline, you and I.
Oh yeah, okay.
And the DOJ won't touch it. And at the time, they presented it to other people like Tucker Carlson to expose it. They had them. They have them. They have them. They have everybody involved. And it's a spider web that's global. It's a global fucking spider web. And at that time, because it was post-elect or pre-election, no even national big radio host even wanted to touch it because it's such a controversial subject. It changes the fabric of a nation. And that's what everybody's so afraid of. It changes. No, it doesn't change the fabric of the nation. It holds people accountable for corrupt bullshit. And that's what the expectation is of a tax-paying citizen, is for the people that we elect to look out for our best interests. And if there's election fraud, we expect you to identify it and to fix it, to come up with a solution to make it a better system, not to manipulate it and become a criminal piece of shit and use us as your fucking, chess pawn.
Well, and the key to that is, when people would say it was clear, first of all, there was two obvious facts in 2020. One, this guy Biden was in no cognitive capacity, had no mental mentation whatsoever to have that kind of responsibility and capability. So that's why the fraud was also required, on top of the fact that Trump was even more popular at the end. And it just, if you look at just the metrics and all of the turnout, he's just continued to get more popular. And now just the latest poll is he's reached the highest popularity that he's been around. And that's across the board. It's like, well, okay. So going back to the whole narrative thing, and let me finish off on the election thing. The easiest way to, if somebody says, oh, it was fraud, it was blah, 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 and somebody pushes back, the easiest way to push back on them is say, is it transparent enough for you to be sure that the votes were counted accurately? Can you go in and have transparency and accountability for the action and the information that occurred? If you can answer yes, then you're an idiot. You haven't looked. Because that's why the whole system is designed to be non-transparent. Yep. You can't know for sure.
It's similar to our tax system,
tax, well, all of it, all of the accountability.
Yep. Oh, I read your lips, dude. You dropped to shut the fuck up.
My little guard dog it's got something. There's a new cat. There's a black cat been hanging around the house that irritates the shit out of her. So
you think somebody's trying to do some spell work on you, bro?
No, that's all bullshit.
You know what? Hold on a second, because I agree with you. Let's go into the subject for today's program. We're gonna do a quick, bottom of the hour break. But dude, let's go into that because of the fact that Lisa and I were just talking about the effectiveness. Is it more psychological or is it not? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So, anyways, folks, we're gonna get in right now talking about life before birth and whatever other direction it wants to go. But you're listening to the Rocci Stucci Show right here with brother Robert Bauer. Nexus Nextcast. You can find him all over YouTube. He has the Informatica series. He is creating something that is going to put him down in the history books in some form or fashion. I mentioned that to him the other day, and I don't know what's going on, but he's creating something that's bigger than the current status way of thinking. So make sure you get on over to his YouTube channel. Make sure you follow him. Go to his website, robertbauer.com. robertbauer.com is his website. And our website is stuccimedia.com. That's where you can find all these shows and all the links to the shows by going to stuccimedia.com. stuccimedia.com. Bauer, what were we before we were sperm?
That's a real good question. And
that's how we start that conversation, bro. That's how we start that conversation.
And you know that when you think about the reality that we inhabit, right? And you look at it from what I call my informatica philosophy, right? You know, you start thinking about things like, well, it's all information. And that's how the informatica model works. You have to look at it and realize that everything you're presented with as you navigate the reality you inhabit is a set of information, metrics in the matrix. Everything has some kind of way in which it's delineated, given distinction and differentiation, delineation of its construct. It's this color, it's this temperature, it's this big, it's made of that. They look like this, it does this. This one's animated, this one isn't. All these different things are just examples of the metrics in the matrix. And those are the things that we use to figure out the nut of the nuggets that we are encountering. So that nut at the essence of the nugget is got its own little metrics.
Oh, a lot of nuts and nuggets going on there, bro.
And the thing is, when you toss them on the table in front of you, you start to see patterns and correlations and mappings, relationships.
Oh. And
right?
A potential mess.
And yeah, a lot of it can be a mess, but the thing that happens is you look at it and you start objectively, with a neutral observation, examine the nuts and the nuggets that are on the table, and then you pick up the ones that you find interesting and you drop them into your noggin.
Does size matter?
Size does not matter. Quality. Quality matters.
Ladies, can we just have a moment of silence, please? We're back.
And I know this from anecdotal information that has been related to me by others who have had said experiences. So let's go back to information, right? Well, that information is, in the biological sense, is represented in the following accepted scientific facts. In one sperm, there is about 38 meg of data.
So I just want to kind of get everybody up here. So we're talking about putting the nuts of the nuggets or the nutty nuggets on the counter to do an observation, and size doesn't matter, quality does. And now we're at the sperm level. All right, go for it.
So in one spermatozoa, the one that is...
Oh, did you just come up with that shit, bro? Spermatozoa, I never heard of sperm. Is that a nutty of a nugget type of drop?
That is the nut. That is the nut in the nuggets of the load.
What? There's our next photo for the next show, bro. What's coming on? Here's your graphic.
So, so trying to stay on that metaphor without losing the complete table of nuts that are on the table. In the process of creation, this thing in the biological thing, we're talking about life before birth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the biological process that we currently understand, it takes one lucky spermatozoa out of millions that are sent. An army of these spermatozoa are sent to go apparently fight amongst themselves. The strongest survive, the eye of the tiger. That one lucky spermatozoa meets the egg and creates this opportunity for the biology to.
Did you ever see that where they actually caught the moment the sperm, what do they call it, incepted or inception, whatever. The sperm got the egg, and there was like a big flash of light. What was that, bro? What? At a spiritual level, did you think that was more than? I mean, there was some real shit going on there, dude. I mean, what caused the light?
Well, to me, it's the energetic union of two independent frequency stamps that are now joining to become one.
And is that light like an actual process of life's creation, so that there was something magical? Like, I don't know the language to use. There's something magical within that flash that produced that. It was like the start button.
To me, Yeah, to me, it's just an expression of the energetic instance that union occurs. It's energy sharing, expressing itself, and I think that.
Go look at her last. Go look at her last comment.
Yes, we are talking, and just to finish that part before we go into the next part of this. So going back to the information, right? Informatica. The exchange of information is what we experience. The observation of that information is what we experience. The metrics in the matrix. That one lucky spermazoa, science has basically gone in and looked at it and said, the amount of information in that one lucky eye of the tiger spermazoa that was able to have that flash of union.
Yeah, spermatozoa, baby.
Contains about 38 megabyte of data.
Oh shit! Is that a lot?
Well, it's
That's
not that much, but in today's
about 18 1-hour shows.
right.
You know.
But think about this: in the entire load of spermatozoa, they estimate it's about 16 terabytes, if I have that number correct. 16 I think it's 16 terabytes.
But now we're talking full load, right?
Yeah, that's we all know that varies
It does.
according to
Depends
your
how much
mileage.
you smoke. You know what I'm saying?
It depends on a lot of things, which is a whole nother show.
Sure is. Sperm data, baby. Sperm data.
But think about it. It's an information exchange. It's a massive amount of data transfer that is happening.
Do you think all the knowledge of life is in that moment and but it gets kind of wiped clean and we have to relearn it? So do you remember Thomas Fusco or Thomas Fusco? So he talked a lot about that everything always existed. Information always existed. It's always been there. It's just a matter of like our radars on our toboggans able to dial in with that frequency of that information to be able to obtain it and download it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So any future ideas that are going to come to an existence is something that already at a universal level already exists. The answers to everything exist somewhere. Right.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to download that shit somehow as a human species. So do you think during that moment before birth, that energy, before that conception, that energy and that knowledge exists in all particles? But then when that unity is made, it's like a reset to where you're in that meat suit, right? And now that meat suit creation is a reset of information, and you kind of disconnect from it and have to learn it all over again. I don't know. It's an amazing concept because then you think about reincarnation. Do they carry that knowledge in that burst from the past life? Because you hear about these stories about reincarnation. So they are transferring some information in those downloads. So that moment of conception, dude, to me is, I think, one of the most fascinating pieces of science that I personally witnessed because life, we find more value in life as we progress in life, you know?
Oh, yeah, imagine that, right? It gets it gets a little more personal than it was before because you're like, all right, now I've got some tenure here. I got some experience. And you start getting, up above 5 or 6 decades as your carbon iteration.
Ouch, man. Ouch, bro.
And that's just traditionally that sounds like a long time. Personally, for me, going back to the whole DNA thing, and we were talking about consciousness before, and I'll just drop this little nugget in. When I learned shiatsu and then got into Tai Chi and discovered the energetic models and modalities of Eastern belief systems, traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, Qigong, that opened my whole. It so resonated with the experience I was having that I went, holy shit, these guys are onto something.
Dude,
because
I want to do that just so I can tell people, hey, Rocky, what do you say? I studied Qigong, bitch.
Yeah, Qigong this. But my point is that if the construct that I believe is the reality we inhabit is based on consciousness, consciousness expresses itself as energy, what we call energy, and that energy is expressed through this infinite field of frequencies that we can barely get slices of. And we're always finding more and more with the better telemetry and toys and tools that we come up with. But more importantly, all of the incorporeal, the invisible shit, is all a part of the infinite field of frequencies. So it's already there. We're already experiencing it. It's just been, again, subjugated, and it's been pushed to the side and demonized to keep people from actually exploring and finding out that this is the natural part of how we exist. So if that is true, then I believe consciousness, with your mind, not your brain, with your mind, that you can change your DNA. You can re-alter the physical construct that you inhabit, this meat suit that you are Ubering in this iterative period that you're having. So as everybody iterates, that little spark is the creation, in my opinion, of the meat suit construct that the frequency stamp is now going to inhabit.
That's deep, bro. It was really hard for me to let you get all that out without me reacting to the chat. I'm like, dude, that's great. I'm sitting here thinking production, marketing, sound clips, and it was coming out. It's like, don't interrupt him. Don't react to it. Don't make him look at it. Don't make no funny faces. Don't do anything. Just continue to observe.
It's a good thing I didn't see that in the middle of that, because I would have completely derailed.
I don't want to be responsible for that, because it was great. It was great content, bro. And I'm like, I'm going to screw it up. I'm going to screw up. It's going to take longer on the edit, man. It's going to screw the edit up.
We're here to create meatballs.
Meat.
That we can put sauce on.
What? On the counter. Through observation and inception.
Have you ever walked into a friend's house, or maybe even family's house, and you just walk in and you're hanging out, and you look over on the counter and you see what looks like the outline of a butt print on the counter?
Actually, that's a weird question, but the odd thing is I might actually have an answer, and I may have a yes answer to that. But there was a lot of Christmas cooking going on, so there's flour. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, and a little oil.
Yeah, but then there was paste. What happens when you put a little water with flour?
Well, you have to roll it around until you find the wet spot.
Yeah, but then it pastes up like glue.
Yeah, you can build houses with shit like that.
Don't believe the movies, dude. Don't believe the movies, because the shit becomes very complicated once it starts to get gummy. You know what I'm saying? You're visualizing that, man. All right. She said, savory meatballs. Okay, so now let's carry this to reincarnation, though.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's take everything you just said, but now let's get the concept of existing information that was accumulated through indoctrination of another life. So some of that information is false. It's not real. It's what we experience, right? It's the realities that we allow to accept. And some of our realities, like at a societal level or a political level, some of our realities aren't real, but we digest them as real. So we go to our graves with that. That World War II pilot who reincarnated, that little kid who claimed he had certain ideologies that were not his. So he carried them over. So what do you think? What do you think the journey is there, if you believe in this? Let's just pretend we both believe in it 1,000%. What is the process of reincarnation? Why reincarnation? And what's the purpose of the restoration of information that doesn't serve us? Dude, that just fucking came up with that shit, bro. That just flowed out, dude. That was like a really good question, too. And I used kind of a big word, man.
There was a couple of them in there, and you didn't stumble at all. You just dropped it and laid it right there on the table.
I feel good. I feel real good. I feel real good about this.
Do you need a wipe?
I am doing it right now. I'm a professional, dude. I'm a professional. You never know.
You got that auto wipe feature built into your stool?
It's called a wipe a day. Like a bidet, but a wipe a day.
The wipe a day. Oh, that's, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a T-shirt right there. All right, so the speculation around this whole concept is very rich. It's very ancient. It's got all kinds of different things from complete acceptance that this is just the way things are to those that would deny it and say, well, there's no fucking way. And to the credit of those who say there's no fucking way, there is no proof. There are anecdotal, empirical, personal experiences that people have and share, near-death experiences, astral travel, past life regression. All those things are anecdotal.
Well, the people that tell you
But
no fucking way are the same people that also tell you that Adam and Eve were real people that populated the planet by having a bunch of sex. Those are the same
well,
people that are telling you you're wrong.
and then there's those that just deny that altogether. There is no
100%. No.
Adam and Eve thing. We are
Correct.
just evolved apes, right? We are
What?
we are primates that are swinging through the trees in our BVDs.
I do watch a lot of monkey videos, bro. I feel connected sometimes. Like, I understand them. It's weird. Like, I get it. Honestly, bro, honestly, if you watch some of these monkey videos, I think it was actually, I'll be honest, I think it was just part of my depression of disconnecting with humans and trying to connect with something similar. You know what I mean? That's what actually why I started watching these, because I was telling myself I want to get one. I do want to get one. But if you study, and I'm talking, these monkey packs that where people go in these countries and they're around and they'll feed them and shit, those style of monkeys. Dude, if you took all the luxuries away from us in our existence and you took the phones away and you just gave us a primitive lifestyle like they live, we would live exactly like they do in the ranking system and a hierarchy. I mean, there's kidnapping monkeys, and if these kidnapping monkeys have more rank than the monkey that they kidnapped, then the mother can't even touch the kidnapped baby or it gets beat. And I'm like, wow. If you really think about it, you go into these like really hardcore neighborhoods where it's ran by like deep, strong gangs, and that's kind of how that shit works. It's the hierarchy. It's the punishment. It's I will beat you if you take from me. It's. I mean, that is the true essence of human behavior, bro. We're still animals, and we forget that. That just
Well,
this is so weird. It's too early to be like flowing so smoothly, bro. You know what I'm saying?
dude, you are killing it, and I
Oh,
don't want to interrupt you. But I got something to say about what you just said.
come on, brother.
So
It's
let
your
me
turn.
say
Go.
this
Come on.
about that.
Oh, damn.
Think about what you just said.
Uh-oh.
What were the characteristics of the what appeared, or at least sounded like, kind of rules? It's like, don't do that, or you're going to get your ass smacked.
The
Oh, that's a
strongest.
rule,
Yeah,
right?
the rules. Yes.
There's some kind of guardrails that are set up by whoever is setting up the guardrails. You set up your own shit. So in the construct of the primate, the familial construct of primates and the way they behave, and it's not just in primates. We see it in all kinds of other fauna. Different species have these familial type constructs that seem to be common between the human and the animal and even the insect kingdom. There's a
Oh,
lot of commonality in the way that the organization and the interaction and the societal constructs manifest. So when you see common characteristics, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about you put all the nuggets on the table and you see what pattern recognition is going on, what overlaps, what correlations, what mappings, similarities, all those kind of things.
dude, can I be
Uh,
honest with you about something?
yeah.
When you say insects, um, you may have heard me say this in the past, but I really believe that like grasshoppers are true undercover fucking aliens, bro. Dude, do you ever
You
zoom
know,
in on their faces, man?
could they be the original alien drones?
That's where they get the ideas from for all these movies. For the alien movies, they all look like demonic grasshoppers.
Well, you've seen the stuff down at the bottom of the ocean in the Mariana Trench.
No?
Oh, good
What?
Lord. These
What?
things, there's new pictures just come out in the last few weeks that of some new life they found down there. And these things are right out of Alien, right out of some sci-fi, otherworldly kind of thing. They don't even, they a couple of them look like they were original characters in Star Wars.
What, dude?
Oh,
I
these
told
things
you it's
were
all coming
amazing.
real, dude. See, how do we know that there ain't those ships down in the ocean and they have programs going and this is like their pets? That what we just found was one of their fucking dogs. It was an alien dog that escaped from a ship and it got away and it's just roaming the freaking ocean now. And now we caught it on film. And now it's going to be part of our life.
Some of them looked like they were probably feline in construct. They were kind of kittyish on the pussy side, the way that they looked. You know what I'm saying?
They probably
But
would look like chumps, bro. You know what I'm saying? No, maybe not, because those ones that are supposed to be 10 feet tall, they sound pretty brutal. They look like lizards, apparently, or something. I don't know.
yeah, some kind of reptilian, fishy kind of thing, right?
I ain't scared, bro. That's why I don't go swimming in the ocean, though. Not because of fish, because of that reptilian fish that is an alien underneath in the spaceship.
I'm more concerned about the aliens that have been inside our Earth in the hollow caverns of our expanding plasma core-based planetoid,
I'm starting to believe that.
and how large it is, how long it is, how long it's been there, and the various species that are there. I think there's at least, my sense is probably 5 or 6 species that have been around for millennia, been a part of the entire process of our
What?
creation.
What? Dude, like they live among us?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, do, do we know who they are, kind of? Or, I mean, do they have a
Some
different
people
odor?
do, some people do, some people don't.
So some of the stuff that we see, like where eyes are changing and feet are changing and shit, like some of that might be real.
I think that there's a good possibility, yes. I think a lot of what we're seeing, though, a lot of the stuff that's made available is more manufactured and created to, further the meme. But one of the best ways to keep a secret
Yeah.
is to make it public.
Plain sight, Alex Jones, baby,
You know
and
what
then
I'm saying?
then make it a conspiracy, and then pump it with a whole bunch of different theories, and just
And throw a
confuse the
whole
shit.
bunch of whack jobs at it and even into the woo community and go mess with the people that are wandering in the woo, wondering what they're seeing and create all that chaos. That's why we've got the whole thing in the UFO community, UAP. I call them ufology.
Yep.
I mean, come on. These people are just banking. There's like a billiard balls. They're just banking off each other and creating all this chaos and never really getting anywhere.
It's difficult too, and like with paranormal shows, it's. I appreciate what everybody's trying to do and entertain the conversations, but sooner or later, if we didn't have these new developments, we would still be just regurgitating the same 8 stories and rewriting this new books on the Amityville house and the Velisca house, and it's kind of like a stuck realm of existence of death, and I think that world should be a world of growth. I think it should be a spiritual journey, not a paranormal journey, when you're involved in that kind of stuff.
Well, and it depends on, again, your definition of the word spiritual. To me, it's an energetic journey, right?
Yeah.
We are,
Well, so the
you know,
definitions would be the same, but just the terminology that I'm using is,
it's well, but
damn,
the
bro.
the words are important. Remember, as I
Yeah.
said, language is the operating system of the mind.
We just kind of proved it just now.
Exactly. And that is the kind of experience that I think that we're all having. And to the point you were just making, one of the clear obfuscations that has completely been weaponized, manipulated, and mangled is the concept of scarcity versus abundance. Scarcity induces a natural sense of anxiety, being concerned, even to the point of fear. Well, if I ain't got enough, what the fuck am I going to do?
Right. Yeah.
Where abundance is on the other side, it's like, well, there's plenty to do, there's plenty to be, and there's plenty to go about and exist. There is more abundance in our reality right now than at any time in history. Scarcity has been used, for example, in the economic sense as far as our energy is concerned. Oh, there's scarcity of this, again, mislabeled fossil fuels. It's not fossil, it's not based on organic matter of decomposing mastodons and vegetation. It's a natural liquid that's generated by the geologic processes of the planet we inhabit.
Oh.
It's not fossil. So that's been hijacked by the climate crazies But the point is that all the Rockefellers and all the folks that got into taking and creating the oil industry, which is still at this point in the public sphere, it is the best energy percentage of producing of anything that's used. Solar can't touch it, wind can't touch it. So when you create, I remember back in the 70s in LA, we had an oil crisis, right?
No, I don't remember, but okay, I'll believe you.
I was in it. I remember buying gas for 25 cents a gallon.
Oh shit!
And then during the oil crisis, it went up to like $1.25, and we were losing
dude,
our shit.
I would have rioted.
And it was an artificial scarcity that was created,
Yep.
which is the point I'm trying to make. Scarcity, not enough energy, not enough food, not enough water, not enough air, not enough coasts, not enough places, not enough of this, that, and everything else, is a purposely manipulated and weaponized concept that is, again, designed to screw with the sleeple, the normies. So the reality is there's more of everything we need than we can imagine. And everything that we need in the most important three components, energy, water, and communication, those three are available in unlimited abundance in the air that we breathe, in the environment we exist and navigate. That reality is what's about to come to life, if you will. Come to the awareness of the people, the carbon units, and they're going to go, wait a minute. You guys have known about this for a long time, for decades at least. Some of it has been known about for millennia. But you guys knew about this and you kind of kept it from the rest of the kids on the playground? Oh, we got an issue. And because we are more, shall we say, enlightened, we're not looking for revenge, but we are looking for accountability. Particularly if it was of malintent, if it was purposely done. If your intent was to screw with people by making them scared about scarcity, and keeping from them the reality of the consciousness that they are, and the potential and the capabilities, yeah, you got some answers that you need to give. We need to make sure that that doesn't happen again. So accountability is the way forward, I think, for dealing with the uncovering and the great reveal of all of this bullshit that humanity has been put under for millennia, and in particular, extremely acute in the last 100 years.
That's how we close out this episode. That's how we do it, brother. I don't even know how to close out on that, to tell you the truth. I'm still trying to kind of put that together in my head. Like what should I say? What kind of energy should I use going out? You know, that's kind of why I'm talking like this right now. I don't even know why I'm talking like this right now, but
I kind of like it.
Man, I love you, bro. Hey, bro, I love you, bro.
You too, brother.
Man, it's. I just looked at the time. It's literally the end of the program. Another mind-bending. I think we actually covered the content. I think we went in and we talked about it. We hit a couple different angles on it, and
I think we went and scratched some nuggets and tugged on it a little bit.
We got a lot of nugget talking, and I think that's really important in our life and our existence. I really do, and I think that there should be more nugget talk. I don't know, I agree with your assessment, nobody else's, that size doesn't matter. And so I'm going to accept that as reality. And so it doesn't matter what anybody else says if they try to say it does matter. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if they do, then they've got some other issue you got to deal with and be aware of as you go forward.
Your staff, Bauer's talking shit. Just want to let you know. Bauer's talking shit. All right? Man, Bauer, thanks. I appreciate you, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for hanging out with us right here on the Rocci Stucci Show. You can catch all the shows either on the YouTube channel or you can go to stuccimedia.com, stuccimedia.com. But do not forget, look up Brother Robert Bauer. Excuse me. Go to robertbauer.com. robertbauer.com. Look up the Nextcast over there on the YouTube channel. Just be prepared We got to talk astrology, Bauer. That's going to be our next conversation. As a matter of fact, that's something I wanted to bring up today. And maybe we need to in the future get Harmon involved in the conversation as well, because I'd like to know where we're sitting at an astrological level like we used to do all the time. So,
well, it is time for a three-way.
Yeah, it is. Right here on the Rocci Stucci Show. Stucci, Harmon, Bauer, three-way, balls, countertops, microscopes, size don't matter. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Wednesday Hump Day edition of the Rocci Stucci Show. Until tomorrow, much love, much respect. On behalf of Robert Bauer, I am the emotional meatball, Rocci Stucci. Don't forget rule number one, kiddos. We don't take shit from nobody. I love you guys.